Shall we talk about Chelsea?
Yeah, go on. This will cheer me up.
I don't know if
Have
it
you seen
will.
your fixture list?
Yeah.
Oh, can someone tell me what it is,
Oh,
please?
mate. Chelsea's next victory comes on the 9th of December.
What's that
That's a
against
Christmas
United?
gift for you.
No, it's against Everton, and that might not. Yeah.
You can put that in your stocking for Christmas.
9th of
for
December.
Christmas
No,
Day.
Manchester United, I've got us in there as not getting a victory. But
You'll beat United.
So your next Premier League
I don't think we
fixtures
go
are
to Old
Spurs
Trafford,
away,
You'll beat them.
Spurs away, Man City at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, Manchester United away.
yeah, I don't really see where we get a victory there. If I'm being really optimistic, Brighton, we've got quite
You
a...
never know, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were
They
to
can
beat
see
Spurs.
goals,
but
Brighton. We don't score goals, but
You beat them in the League Cup, didn't you?
we did.
Yeah.
We did. Huge result. But no, we are completely all over the place. Like losing to Brentford, it's definitely the most angry that I've been this season. You know, there's been a lot of bad performances. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, away at West Ham, whatever you want to talk about. But the most angry, but also the most sort of reticent. You know, there's just an almost begrudging acceptance that Chelsea are now capable of losing.
Is there a moment for you as you were watching the game, or is there a player that stands out for you that was kind of
two
abject? Because I thought Cole Palmer had a good game.
very good players.
That's one positive I can give you.
Very,
But
very
what
good
about the
player.
negatives? Or
There are two. I think that Nicholas Jackson, I really wanted it to work, and I kind of admired the hope that it would. I admired the signing. It was progressive. It was clever. It was signing a player for 30 million quid and hoping. You know, it wasn't in terms of principle. I suppose it's Arsenal signing Vieira, isn't it? A player that nobody had heard of for a relatively small amount of money, who could potentially change your entire team. He ain't our Vieira.
what's the issue?
He can't.
Finishing.
He's terrible.
Did he have what chances? I didn't see any chances. Right.
Do you know what he's not as well? What's happening, everyone, and welcome to this clip from the Club Podcast. Before we get started, I need to let you know that you have two opportunities to win £250,000 courtesy of Super 6. All you need to do is download the Super 6 app. It will not cost you a penny. Totally free. Download the app and predict 6 scores correctly. There are 2 rounds this week, the Carabao Cup and the Premier League. It is totally and utterly free. Please download the Super 6 app. Join our mini league. The code is Club23 and I'll see you in there. Enjoy the clip. You know, some strikers who don't score, you kind of don't mind it because they can do an awful lot for the team. You go, I don't know, Emil Heskey when he wasn't being prolific. You go, but Ian Arthur opens a lot of doors for Michael Owen, and he brings others into play.
Yeah.
Like he's not that. He's not helping others out. He's meant to be scoring goals, and when he's not scoring, he's not doing anything. And he's not scoring, so he's not doing anything. But I don't. I'm starting to worry that he's not even a Premier League player. Like genuinely, if you think about players that are playing in the Championship, and I know I'm going high-end Championship here, but I don't think Nicholas Jackson is a better player than Iheanacho. I don't think Nicholas Jackson is a better player than Jamie Vardy. You know, obviously there's a long, they're different and whatever, but in terms of scoring goals today in the Premier League, I don't think Nicholas Jackson is he's just not good enough. He can't score any goals until we have somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net. We're not going to win very many games.
It is a crazy bit of circumstances at Chelsea, though. Like when you look at the crazy amount, like the overturn, like you just constantly different players coming in. Turnover of players is massive. Like your managers are the same. Like just so much change there at the moment.
Yeah,
it must be really difficult to kind of get things just settled.
But do you know what's quite frustrating? Do you know when? If I were to say to both of you, if you ask me a question, Raw, how did Chelsea get better then in January? What changes? And I would say we need to sign X, Y, and Z. You both would probably sneer and snigger and go, "You've spent £1 billion."
No, I think you've spent £1 billion, but you still haven't got a goal scorer.
Because I think
getting a goal scorer changes this team massively.
This is something that I think is so important for people to acknowledge. When Chelsea spend money, we aren't trying to get better. We aren't trying to build a better team. We aren't trying to improve the team as it is today. Mm-hmm. We aren't trying to finish further up the table. We're trying to increase the value of the club. We are trying to make the club worth more money. That's the purpose of Chelsea spending money. It's an investment to turn a bigger profit. If Chelsea's genuine aspiration was to improve in the summer, you go out and you don't sign Lavia and you do sign James Maddison.
Yeah.
If Chelsea really wanted to improve, we would have signed a centre forward. If I said to you, hypothetically, a year ago, Chelsea in the next 12 months are going to spend £1 billion. That's the fact, I tell you. That's not a lie. Chelsea will spend £1 billion. And I say to you, hypothetically now, Booth, a year ago, who's leading the line in this £1 billion project? Who's Chelsea centre
It's
forward?
Osman, isn't it?
Kane?
Kane,
Kane?
Take
Osman?
away the
Yeah.
London derby thing. But,
Yeah. Osman,
it's Osman as a neutral.
Osman Kane. It's impossible for Chelsea to not have
Yeah.
a proper striker, isn't it? Impossible. Instead of that, we've got Nicholas Jackson, who cost 30 million quid, who was signed off the back of having a decent
9 goals
dozen
for
games.
Villarreal.
In the last sort of dozen games, he came alive.
Yeah.
And Chelsea spent 30 million quid on him and signed him. And then, by the way, when we needed a goal, we were losing at home. Ollie Watkins scored for his first goal of the season, opened the floodgates for him. Ollie Watkins scored for Villa. We're losing the game. We're desperate for a goal. Right, okay, it's not working with Jackson. What are we going to do? Let's look to the bench. Armando Broja, who's been injured for a year.
Looked
That's
decent in the last few games when he has played, but he's not the right answer now.
Good player, but that's
Not
not
the
the
answer
answer,
now.
is it? When Chelsea
No.
Football Club are losing at home to Villa.
No.
That's you turn to the bench at one point and Nicolas Anelka's sitting there. You turn to the bench at another point and Hernan Crespo's sitting there.
Yeah.
You turn to the bench now and it's Armando Broja, who's been injured for a year,
Yeah.
who is a kid and has no real proven track record in Premier League.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. And until they sign players whose first purpose, is to improve the team, not to simply raise more money. Like, do you know what they're trying to do is throw money at the club, and they've already made a mess of it. They've already overspent massively on players. They've already overspent massively on the club. Like Chelsea aren't. When people go in terms of players, any player that's for sale is worth X because Harry Maguire is worth 80, and Harry Maguire kind of rocked the axis with regard to valuation. Chelsea did that. Like, when Manchester United go with 10 billion, one of their, obviously that's not accurate, even close to being accurate, but a false justification would be, well, look what Chelsea went for.
Yeah.
Look what Chelsea went for. Because Chelsea overpaid. But I think that these boys, whose sole purpose is to make money, have realised that the Premier League and European sport in general is this unregulated Wild West where they can make a fortune. Like, in American sport, they can't make that money.
Yeah, it's all
It's
owned,
regulated.
it's private.
Regulated, yeah, regulated.
Might be all geared towards another pop at the Super League as well.
It's geared to potentially that. Like, I think that, and when this happens, this is when I will go potty. I think that very soon they're going to try and leave Stamford Bridge, sell the land of the, because Chelsea, you've been there, haven't you? A few times. Like, Chelsea is come out of Fulham Broadway Station, and it's there. It must be worth, that land must be worth. I don't know, billions. So if you can sell that and buy somewhere for 300 million,
Put houses on there, you're
Yeah.
laughing.
you are, oh my God, you are so caked. And I think that is on the horizon.
You think it is?
I genuinely do.
Wow.
And it won't.
And
Why
maybe
couldn't- why
that's
couldn't
why.
Roman get it
And
for
maybe
you?
that's why you chuck $1 billion at players, appease the fans.
Of course.
Because nowadays it's not. All right, 40,000 inside Stamford Bridge. You don't care about them.
No.
We'll piss them off.
Yeah.
Fine. As long as we keep these millions and millions worldwide.
And mate, I've seen
Happy,
that. Do you know
entertained.
what I've seen sort of online, and it really does upset me because to some people they don't seem to care. Like, I think some people would be happy for Chelsea to relocate to Manchester. Like, it doesn't matter to some people. Whereas I think Stamford Bridge just has to be like the be all and end all. But I don't see where we're going to pick up any points in the next 5.
Let's go through it. And how many
Yeah.
points you getting? Tottenham away.
They beat us.
But the history of Tottenham is you'd probably win that.
It was.
Nil point.
I'll keep count,
3
lads.
point
You
say
lane.
nil point.
3 point
I'll keep-
lane.
I'll keep count
feels
over
like
here
a long
like count
time
now.
ago.
Right, there we go.
Yeah, I don't think.
We're at 0
Mate,
right
hang
now.
on. Let's just talk about this one because I'm going to be very honest very soon. But Tottenham, I know they're very good at the moment. I know they're looking good. What, they won 8 games out of 10, only drawn 2, unbeaten. But just is there?
You know
ever,
me, I want to give it to you.
no,
mate.
but is
I
there
can,
ever?
I can.
It's
They're so
sometimes
good.
in fixtures. Sometimes it's just
I think they could beat Tottenham.
yeah.
It's because it's just that. It's just that, innit?
Chelsea,
It's
Chelsea beat Tottenham.
It's like Tottenham against Arsenal. No matter when that happens, Arsenal winning.
Yeah.
You feel like,
they showed up,
obviously they drew
you
this
lot
game.
showed up against Arsenal for 30 minutes. You should have won the game 2-0.
72
You
minutes.
won. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, fine. 72 minutes. There's a 30-minute spell. You were really good.
Yeah.
So,
like
but
Tot-
in reality, Spurs are better than Arsenal this season at the
But do
moment.
you know what?
I think they're
Do you know
playing.
what, Booth?
They're
I'm going to be really honest with this. Okay, so I'm going to disregard a couple quickly. Man City batter us at Stamford Bridge, obviously, and then we can't win at Newcastle, even when we're champions and they're terrible.
You got Mourinho, yeah.
Yeah, we're champions and they're flirting with relegation and they beat us.
They could have beat Mike Ashley's Newcastle at
Yeah,
St.
yeah.
James'
Our
Park.
record at St James Park, pathetic. So I'll write that one off.
Brighton at home.
But Brighton at home, I think we
draw.
could get something because they
I
concede a lot
reckon
of goals.
they lose against Spurs, they draw against Spurs, lose against City, lose against Newcastle. somehow beat Brighton, which keeps Poch in his job, and then they draw or lose against United.
Lose to Brighton.
I think I agree with Adam. I think we could get something out of Tottenham. And the only reason I think that, Tottenham are brilliant at the moment, Chelsea are all over the place, but the only reason I believe that Chelsea could get something against Tottenham is because we just we didn't
Also,
lose.
look, they drew against Arsenal this season. They've drawn against Liverpool this season. You know, they've had some good results.
Spurs top of the table. They're better than both those sides.
I think
they're unbelievable.
We've got a
Spurs are better than Arsenal.
Yeah.
In better form.
They're only 2 points ahead.
I'm not saying they're more capable of winning the league. Arsenal probably are, but
they're only 2 points ahead of them, though.
Spurs are in unbelievable form.
Yeah.
The way they did Palace, they've actually shown more resilience.
What are you saying, nil points?
You saying
I think they'll get
0 out of 5 games?
You'll draw Brighton.
I think they get 2 to 4
And what,
points.
get beat by United?
Yeah, I think you'll get 1 point.
1 point out of 5 games.
Yeah, because Mason Mount's going to score his first
Then they
goal
sack
for us
Poch.
that day.
Poch looks like a man sacked, by the way. Poch looks like a man's really sacked.
I don't think they can sack him.
Nah.
He looks very dejected. They're playing terrible
I don't think-
football. A lot of it is down. I
don't
mean,
think they
the
can
way
sack
the
him.
Just
brand
like
of
with
football's
Ten
not there.
Hag, you have to give Poch time.
And he's a year
Yeah,
behind.
I agree.
Ten Hag.
I agree with you in principle.
You have to
I look
give
at these
him time.
owners and think, will they even understand that
But
principle?
the way they talk about themselves, and I know that people don't always see themselves in the light that they're actually in. You know, people paint themselves in a very different colour to what they actually are. But these people will tell you long-term management, like Potter 7-year contract. That's what they pretend to be up for.
Yeah.
They haven't demonstrated that. They've been 4 managers there since they came in. But in the people that they want to be, or at least they pretend they want to be,
Philosophical, Graham
long-term
Potter
managers, yeah.
vibe. That's why they hired him.